All right, we are back. Um, Shadowdark. We're going to pick up the adventure here, the Lost Citadel of the Red Minotaur. And right now we're looking at several options here. I admit, part of me just wants to get out of here and try to save ourselves because I see this getting probably a lot more dangerous. I don't know what all we could possibly face here. I don't know whether to go towards the Hall of Chains. Try to find the next seal chamber. Um, Try to head towards the arcane library, perhaps. I think I'm going to just start out by, we're going to rest briefly with watches. We're going to have Lingen and Grumsh on the first watch, and then we're going to have Tharian and Uzguk on a second watch. And then we could follow that with Sarwin and Throganlear on a third watch and try to rest and recuperate a little bit. I honestly don't know what this is going to do for us. The company of Red Iron prepares to rest within the chamber of the fallen white. The cold stone floor offers little comfort, but the air here is still and the walls feel thick, silent for now. Torches are doused save for the soft, steady flame of the torch of the first flame, which Lingen carefully tucks into a corner to illuminate the room without drawing attention to the door. Weapons are clean, armor unbuckled, wounds dressed. The ritual platform is marked with ash and avoided. All right, the short rest begins. Rotating watches. First watch, Lingen and Grumsh. Grumsh grumbles, pacing with sword half drawn, but he never blinks. Lingen peers into the shadows, watching for a movement, crossbow near. Result was uneventful, though Lingen spots a faint breeze drifting from behind a cracked wall, possible hidden passage for later. On the second watch, Tharian and Uzguk. Uzguk sits silently, eyes locked at the door. Tharian recites a quiet hymn to Saint Taragnus, armor shining in the low light. The result quiet, although Uzguk hears distant clinking like a chain dragged across stone, far away, not approaching. The third watch, we have Sarwin and Throganlear. Sarwin studies the carved map again, noting new symbols. Throganlear meditates in silence, holy symbol of Geed held to his chest. The result safe. A faint tremor shakes dust from the ceiling near the end of the watch. Nothing more. All right, so the rest is complete. All party members may recover spent abilities or spells as per Shadowdark rest rules. All right, so that's good. Typically no full heal, just catch up, and some spell casting restoration if the judge allows. Well, hopefully you do. Through ChatGTP, I certainly hope so. Cure wound spells are ready again. Magic Missile is available once more. You now also have a map of the Spiral Descent, the Magical Torch. Remember, we have the Black Iron Sword, which is in Vam's hands. The sealed scroll tube is in Sarwin's care, and a known warning: 6 seals and the hollow crown beneath. All right, so now we've got to figure out what to do next. All right, there's a big part of me that really wants to leave, but I think we're gonna investigate the breeze behind the cracked wall. That's what I think we should probably. Lingen investigates the breeze behind the cracked wall. That would be the one that Lingen noticed earlier. All right, check out this crack. Lingen Moonfinger, ever the silent step, draws his short sword and grips the torch of the first flame. in his offhand. The rest of the company watches quietly as he pads toward the cracked wall where he first felt the breeze during his watch. The hairline fracture runs vertically along an aged slab near the back of the chamber, just beyond one of the sculpted bull-headed pillars. Dust coats the floor, but no cobwebs hang in the crevice, a sure sign of airflow. All right, does a thievery perception. Lingen traces a nearly invisible seam, then taps the stone twice. It's hollow. He pries gently at the edge with his dagger, and a hidden stone door shifts with a low grinding noise. It opens just enough to reveal a narrow passage, barely wide enough for a human, but easy for Lingen and the smaller party members. All right, a hidden passage has been revealed, a crawl space or forgotten servant's path, sloping slightly downward. The walls are smooth, carved with ancient drain runes. The air smells older, wetter, like moss and old iron. No light beyond Lingen's torch. We've got a rat run down, Lingen says, grinning. Maybe a shortcut or a tomb. I really don't like. Do I really want to send everyone through this passage? I'm not so sure. This could be a trap, but this whole thing could be a terrible, terrible trap. I have to make a decision. I don't feel like splitting the group because our strength is always being together. We decide as a party that we want to follow the spiral path on the map instead. I don't know if that's the right choice or not, but I can't split the party. Not right now. The company of Red Iron gathers once more, turning away from the cracked wall and the dark, unknown crawl space. The decision is made. You will follow the spiral path, carved into prophecy and stone, mapped from ancient magic and lore. Saruman leads the route, holding the scroll and glyph marks copied from the wall. Lingen walks ahead with the torch of the first flame, revealing runes and wards in the dark. The rest of the party fans out in formation, alert and ready. The spiral path. First descent. Following the carvings, you exit the ritual chamber through a hidden side hall behind the altar platform. Steps wind downward in a tight curve, carved with fading glyphs of chains and horns. The air thickens, your boots tread over worn symbols, one shaped like a spiral dagger, another a star with no points. The stairway ends at a massive stone arch, sealed by a door made of interlocking circular slabs. A single rune pulses softly in the center, like a heartbeat. Wow. All right. I don't want to open it directly. I want to. I have Lingen and Sarwin both inspect the glowing rune for traps or any magical function. Lingen steps forward with the torch of the first flame held high, its cool light illuminating the strange spiral door and the glowing rune at its center. Sarwin follows closely, arcane senses already tingling. The door is a solid core of overlapping stone rings, interlocked like a puzzle, and at its heart pulses a soft red glyph, a downward pointing arrow identical to the one on the pendant of the red sigil. Hmm. All right. Lingen investigates the trap. Lingen runs his fingers around the seams, feeling for catches or poison triggers. No traps, he whispers, but this thing's built to shift like a vault. Something needs to unlock it from the center. All right, Sarwin does an arcane analysis. Sarwin's eyes narrow. The rune isn't just a seal, it's a magical keyhole. If activated incorrectly, it could trigger a containment defense. But if you have the right symbol. Then Sarwin looks at Vam. That pendant you carry, it's not just a token, it's the key. All right. I was hoping this pendant of the red sigil might come in handy. I guess Vam's not going to be selling it at the shop when he gets back. All right. Let's see. What will the company do? All right. I think we're gonna. Vam steps forward and presses the pendant to the stone while the other members of the party prepare their weaponry. Vam Crosong, wielder of the black iron sword, steps forward through the torchlit hush. The pendant of the red sigil glows faintly in his hand as he raises it toward the pulsing rune. Behind him, Tharion tightens his grip on his longsword and raises his shield. Uzguk and Grumpsh crack their necks in unison, weapons gleaming. Thormil plants his feet in a defensive stance, mace ready. Lingen draws his short sword and angles the torch of the first flame toward the ceiling, ready to vanish at the first sight of danger. Throlganlir clutches his holy symbol, murmuring Geed's blessing. Sarwin's fingers spark, arcane energy swirling behind his eyes. The moment. Varm Vam presses the pendant into the glowing rune. The chamber rumbles softly. The rune flashes crimson, then white, then vanishes. Stone rings grind and rotate one layer at a time, forming a shifting spiral that recedes into the wall like a puzzle unlocking itself. With a final clack, the central stone drops and rolls aside. The way opens. Beyond the door is a wide hall, arched and lined with chains hanging from the ceiling, unmoving. The smell of iron and incense wafts through. On the floor ahead, faint symbols glow, some matching the blood circle runes seen before. You've reached the second seal. Okay, we got two. There's six apparently altogether, right? Um, the party enters the hall carefully, with Lingen scouting ahead and with Vam, Tharian, and Uzguk in tight formation behind them, and the rest of the party follows behind. Ling and Moonfinger step silently into the hall, the torch of the first flame held high. The chains overhead may not at all sway not at all, yet their iron forms seem to hum with dormant weight. His feet tread lightly across the dustless floor, too clean, too preserved. Behind him, Vam, Tharian, and Uzaguk form a tight wedge, shields out, blades gleaming. Grumpsh, Thormil, Throganlir, and Saruman follow behind, eyes sharp, weapons and spells at the ready. The Hall of Chains. The chamber stretches roughly 40 feet ahead, arched like a cathedral nave. The ceiling rises to 15 feet, from which dozens of iron chains dangle, perfectly spaced, motionless as if waiting. At the far end of the room, raised on a three-step dice, is a blood circle platform marked with an identical spiral rune as the first, but this one is intact. And on that platform, bound in rusted shackles, sits a withered figure, hooded, unmoving, still as a corpse. All right, Lingen does a scouting check. He halts suddenly, raising a hand. The chains, he whispers. Look, some aren't casting shadows. And he's right. Some chains reflect the torchlight, others do not. They shimmer faintly in the magical light. Illusions or something halfway here. Sarwin, detect magic check. Sarwin peers ahead, narrowing his eyes. The chains that don't cast shadows are partially ethereal, not illusions. If you touch one, it may pull you to the other side. Oh wow, we definitely do not want to do that. Blood circle platform is ahead. Shackled hooded figure sits upon it. Maybe trapped or enchanted. So we're going to have to really be careful moving forward here. Linga navigates forward carefully, testing which chains are safe. At the same time, Sarwin attempts to identify or disable the ethereal chains, and the rest of the party follows behind. Lingen, see, no, let me change that. Now we're going to go with that. Lingen moves forward with the quiet grace of a shadow on glass. The torch of the first flame held high, its magical light casting the ethereal chains into partial view. He slides between the iron links carefully, watching for even the faintest shimmer of arcane distortion. Sarwin, moving in tandem, keeps his eyes locked on the chains that don't cast shadows, muttering arcane syllables under his breath. His staff pulses with warning magic attuned to even the faintest dimensional instability. Lingen navigation and thievery. Lingen gently pokes one of the ethereal chains with a knife blade. It vanishes through it. The air ripples like water. He notes the safe zones and weaves through them, making marking with chalk the path for others to follow. All right, Sarwin attempts an arcane disruption attempt. These chains are phased bindings, Sarwin mutters. They pull the soul into a waiting ritual, but they haven't been triggered yet. He draws a warding sigil in the air with his staff and gently traces it across one of the shimmering chains. Faint arcane feedback pulses, and the chain blinks out of existence. They're tied to the seal. I can dispel them one by one. But if the seal breaks, they'll return in force. You now stand before the second seal. The shackled figure lifts its head slightly. Beneath the hood, two milky white eyes glow faintly, and it speaks in a voice like wind on bone. You bear the sigil. You walk the spiral. Speak, red iron. Will you break the seal or leave the dreamer buried? I will have Saruman attempt to engage the figure in conversation. Ask the figure questions such as, who are you? what this place is. What are you guarding something? What is your purpose here? Let's try that. Sorrow and Sageheart steps cautiously into the marked safe path, the torch of the first flame reflecting faintly in the shimmer of ghost chains. He stops a few paces from the dais where the shackled figure sits, still skeletal, its robes clinging like ash to bone. He speaks, his voice steady and low. Who are you? What is this place? Are you a guardian or a prisoner? What is your purpose here? The figure exhales a breath, like sand shifting across stone. Its head turns slowly towards Sarwin. The shackled figure speaks. I am what remains of Maldrith, once of the Crimson Ring, bound here for my arrogance, for my hand in the Minotaur's crowning. This is the second seal, a gate of 6. We were its makers, and now I am its keeper. I watch, but I do not hold the key. That belongs to the spiral. Break the circle, and the spiral turns again. Leave it, and the one beneath continues to slumber in dreamless hunger. The figure pauses, eyes flickering with a faint red light. You have walked through blood and darkness to reach this place, so choose. Unseal the next lock, or let me dream a little longer. Hmm. I mean, do we really want to release this thing? Like, do we really want to do that? Is that really what we want to do? I mean, let's, while we're here, we might as well talk to this guy. Saruman asks more questions about the Crimson Ring and his part in the crowning of the Minotaur. Also, need to consider requesting some guidance and maybe try to release him from his bonds, if possible. Saruman's voice echoes gently in the quiet hall, the chains overhead swaying with an unnatural stillness. Tell me more of the Crimson Ring. Who were you? What did you create? And what do you mean by the Minotaur's crowning? The shackled figure, Maldrith, lowers its head. A long silence follows, and then a voice, like the settling of ancient dust, fills the chamber again. Maldrith speaks of the Crimson Ring. We were 7 once, mages, priests, bloodrights, dreamers. The Crimson Ring was forged to shape a binding, a prison of spiral ritual, carved into the flesh of the world. But some of us sought more. We found the one beneath, in the place that predated light. We thought we could bind it, contain it, siphon its will. So we crowned a vessel, gave it form and law. We called it. He pauses, the air turning much colder, the Scarlet Minotaur. The creature was never born. It was shaped, part man, part god, part something else. We etched the blood seals into its bones, built the citadel to house its awakening. But it would not serve, it would only consume. It broke us, turned the seals inward. Now it sleeps, deep in the hollow crown. And if the sixth circle breaks, it will walk again. Okay. So I ask again, Maldrith says, his voice quiet now. Will you break this circle and take the next step towards waking it? Or will you walk away and let this world forget what we tried to bury? Saruman asks Maldrith, how may we destroy or cleanse the Minotaur? Saruman, his voice cold but measured, steps one pace closer. The arcane light from the torch of the first flame gleams off his staff. Maldrith, he says, if this creature, the Scarlet Minotaur, awakens, how may we stop it? How can it be destroyed or cleansed? The shackled figure's head tilts slightly. The glow behind his eyes dims, then flares. Maldrith responds, you cannot cleanse it, not anymore. It was never meant to be clean. It was made to contain corruption, not be free of it. To destroy it, you would have to shatter the bindings of the Crimson Ring itself. Each of the 6 seals is bound to a soul, one of ours. 5 remain, or their echoes. When the 6th seal breaks, the Minotaur awakens. Only at that moment, fully awakened and unsealed, can it be killed. Only by a weapon forged in its making, and wielded by one untouched by its dream. He lifts his shackled arm slightly, and a faint pulse of magic trembles the floor. Oof. So he can't be killed while he's sealed. We'd have to break all the seals to get rid of him. And there's always this danger, I guess, right, of this guy coming back. Uh, the blade you carry, warrior, Maldrith says, turning to Vam, was shaped beside the creature, but not for it. That sword may yet choose. But beware, if the 6th seal breaks and no one stands ready, then the hollow crown will open, and the world will drown in horn and shadow. The hall falls silent again, the blood seal pulses faintly beneath Maldrith's bound form. Saruman asks Maldrith about freeing him from his shackles. May we attempt to free you? I don't know how it's going to interpret that. Saruman's voice softens, a rare moment for the wizard. Maldrith, you've given us truth, and your presence has steadied this seal. If we wish to free you from these chains, not to break the seal, but to give you peace, could we, should we? The shackled figure lifts his head. The glow in his hollow eyes flares one final time, brighter than before. Maldrith's final words. If you free me, you break the seal. My soul is the lock, my body its vessel. These chains are not my prison, they are my penance. If you wish to grant me peace, then strike me down and let the spiral turn. But know this, with every seal undone, the Minotaur stirs. With every soul unbound, the dream grows louder. Maldrith lowers his head. I do not beg for release. I only ask, be ready when the 6th awakens. Be more than we were. The hall is silent now. The seal pulses once, then stills. The choice remains yours. I don't really want to strike him down. The party decides to assign Vam as the Slayer to strike down Maldrith and break the seal and unbind him from his situation. Vam Crowsong steps forward, black iron sword in hand. The chamber seems to exhale, a windless hush falling over the company of red iron as he ascends the steps towards the dice. Maldred lifts his head, his chains clinking softly. There is no fear, no anger, only a quiet finality. You carry the blade, he says, then let it be by your hand. Let it be clean. Bam nods once solemnly. His grip tightens on the black iron sword of the crypt. With a swift, reverent stroke, Vam drives the sword through Maldred's chest. The strike is sure, silent. As the blade pierces his heart, the chains ignite in crimson light and then dissolve into ash. The blood seal on the floor pulses once, twice, then splinters like glass, sending shards of red magic curling upward and vanishing into the ceiling. Maldred's body slumps and then fades entirely. You feel it in your bones, a deep tremor, not of the earth, but of the seal system itself. Far below, in places unseen, something shifts. The second seal has broken. 4 now remain. The chamber darkens for a breath, and then the torch of the first flame brightens, revealing a new spiral mark carved behind the dice, a path leading downward, etched with bull's skull, split by a crown. You now have 2 seals broken. All right. So we know that Vam has the weapon that we need to use, so that's going to be important. It's either going to be him or somebody's going to have to wield it. All right, take a moment to rest or regroup. I don't think we need to do that. All right, follow the new spiral marked path to the next seal with Lingen scouting ahead and the rest of the party following behind. I will say, we have done what few have ever dared, freed a soul that held back an ancient god, and now the spiral opens wider. All right, let's see what happens here after I send this. Lingen Moonfinger raises the torch of the first flame and steps into the newly revealed spiral path, its etched lines glowing faintly under the magical light. Behind him, the company of red iron falls into formation, Vam at the center, his black blade still humming softly from Maldred's release. Descent into the third seal. The passage spirals downward, carved more crudely than the halls above. The walls close in, chiseled with symbols that shift between bull horns, eyeless faces, and fractured crowns. Water drips from above. The air is wetter here, colder. The smell of old parchment and grave dust rises as you descend. After several turns, the passage opens into a wide circular chamber, not domed, but vaulted, like a library turned inward on itself. Apparently, we're at the Archive of Echoes. Ancient bookcases, toppled and split, line the curved walls. Stone plinths bear decaying scrolls, their contents warped and blackened. At the center stands a sealed well, capped with a ring of iron. Above the well floats a shimmering orb of faint blue flame, tethered to the seal below by 3 thin chains of light. And etched into the stone floor, the third spiral seal. Lingen singles the all clear for now. No movement, no traps in immediate reach. But the orb pulses faintly and whispers begin to echo softly, barely audible, like voices underwater. Sarwin inspects the orb for magical or trap properties and Also, Lingen investigates the seal and its surrounding for any traps. Saruman's sage heart narrows his eyes at the hovering orb of pale blue flame, its light cold and wavering like a soul in distress. He steps forward cautiously, hands glowing faintly as he channels arcane insight. Lingen crouches low with his torch of the first flame, begins to circling the spiral seal carved into the stone floor, his eyes scanning every groove, every pressure plate, every telltale crack in the stone. All right, Sarwin looks for any arcane elements. It's not a trap, he says softly. It's a vessel, a soul lock. That orb holds the spirit anchoring the seal, but it's damaged, fragmented. The chains of light that tether it to the iron-capped well are part of the ancient spell structure, a tri-binding ritual. If if even one of the chains is severed, the seal will begin to break. But something else stranger is happening. It's whispering, but not to us. It's whispering to itself. It may not even know we're here. Lingen does a trap detection. Lingen studies the stone seal around the base of the orb. There are no mechanical traps, but he does find a narrow ring of ash and a tiny line of salt worked into the etchings, warding magic. Old, likely deteriorating. Not designed to keep us out, Lingen mutters. It's made to keep something in. And as you observe, the orb pulses once, and for a moment a face flickers in the flame, twisting, incomplete, whispering names. Not ready. Too soon. Not this time. Then it's gone. All right. That was pretty good. So I think we are going to stop here at the moment. We're going to continue on with this orb and probably try to communicate with it. In the meantime, I'm probably going to go ahead and get signed up for my Chat GPT Plus account, which I have not done yet. Obviously, I've run out of queries that I can perform here, but what's it say? The third soul doesn't beg or warn. It is simply not whole. Will you awaken it or move on? All right. Well, I think if we sever one of the light chains, apparently that will break the seal. It might be worth communicating with it first to try to see if we can gain some more information as we go forward. We're going to think that one over and hopefully get through this third seal together. All right, guys. I hope everyone's enjoying this one so far. I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. I never imagined that I could handle this many characters. And it's something different. I'm not saying this is a replacement for playing in person, having a real game master. Not at all. This is just another alternative. This is something else to try. I'm not trying to claim this is better or worse. Certainly, I think it's fun when you've got a group of people running characters and doing things. But I wanted to give this a try and just see what it felt like. And so far I'm having fun for what this is. I'm actually having fun with it. All right. So anyhow, I hope to see everybody in the next video and look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Take care.